What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Train, as usual. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. And as you can see, we got another newcomer here, my guy Josh. Josh, what's up with you, man?
What's going on? Glad to be here. Glad to be here and part of the talking conversation.
Appreciate you. And as y'all can see, y'all know him, you love him. You see him damn near every time you come on the video. Chris, how's everything with you, baby?
What's good, bro? How you, fam?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Can't complain. The Celtics, since we on the subject, are you worried about the Celtics because they did pick up a big that you said y'all haven't had to face, and I'd like to assume y'all have to face the Celtics again because it's not like they going anywhere. The Bucks still got to figure out what they're doing with Middleton and whatnot. So I mean, right now it looks like it's you and the Celtics. I mean, how you feeling? Are the Celtics giving you some worry?
I mean, the Celtics are always going to be a team that's competitive and competing in the East. Personally, for me, I liked how they got rid of Marcus Smart because I felt like Marcus Smart for them is an energizer bunny. He's really, I think, the heart and soul of that team. Even though he's not the leader, he's not the most scoring. I think he's their captain.
Mm.
You lose somebody who's an emotional leader, somebody who leads in the locker room, somebody who plays defense, can pick up. He just won the Defensive Player of the Year last year, and now they got rid of him. Now they get Kristaps Porzingis, and I have not seen him produce. We could date this back to his New York days. He hasn't been healthy for the Wizards when they got him. He wasn't as productive when they thought Luca and him would be a nightmare with that pick and roll. So I mean, I can't say I'm worried about their pickup of Kristaps Porzingis. Yeah, he can be a good asset, but when we look at what has he produced lately, it hasn't been matching up as the hype that a lot of people expected him to be when he came in the league. I think the Celtics actually, I don't see them making the Eastern Conference Finals next year with that loss of Marcus Smart. And another thing, Jalen Brown, when it comes time for postseason, he needs to develop that skill set where he can dribble and drive. He had 8 turnovers in Game 7 against Miami as a guard. As a guard,
I mean,
that
that's
should not
happened.
happen.
That's happened to a couple players now.
But if you look at the last year's too, the year before that, when they
Yeah,
were going up against Golden State, every time he drives through the lane, I mean, every 4 times he's getting plucked or he's losing the ball.
yeah. I mean, I was telling my boy Reese about this because like Reese was actually telling me that T Mac was working with him on his handle once they lost to the Warriors, and they lost to the Warriors not too long ago, for real, for real. So I'm like, in order to like actually master something, it's gonna take a while. So
Mhm.
I mean, if it takes about a year to master something, and he's not been known as the skilled player coming out. Like when he went to Cal, they were saying he's going to be a project offensively, but a good athlete should be good defensively. And every year he's gotten better offensively. So because of
Oh
that
yeah.
trajectory, I would say they got to give it a little patience. I think he has been working on it because like that man be snatching some ankles too now. Like he'll get he'll get a few people slipping, but yeah, you can't have 8 turnovers too though, especially
Yeah.
when you had the season or the postseason that you did last year too. Like so, I mean, I get you on that.
Yeah.
That
And
needs.
I have no doubt he's a great player. And I think Jalen Brown is one of I could see a case for making him a top 25 player in the league. But for him to have that 8 turnovers, it kind of hurts that argument if he could actually ever be put in that conversation of being top 25.
Oh, I don't know. I could say he could be make an argument for top 15
Well,
because
I'm not going off from, I'm just saying
yeah,
I
yeah,
put
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get you though too, because it's what you've done for me lately, and people remember that as the lasting moment for
yeah.
him. So it's like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that is a little tough. Chris, let me ask you this, right? Because I had to start it off with Josh because I had to hit it from an emotional standpoint. But do you feel like though the Celtics can cause some worry for teams like the Heat? Because I mean, all right, to Josh's point now, Kristaps Porzingis was projected to be that unicorn, that guy, right? And he has had health injuries. But however, last season he was healthy. I think he plays. Let me pull up the exact stats. I don't want to misquote, but it was a good amount of games. I want to say 60 something if I'm not mistaken. Um, Gave you about 20 points, eight rebounds, 2 blocks. Yeah, 65 games, gave you 23 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, um, 1.8 blocks, zero point 0.7 steals, so rounding up to 1 steal, 2 blocks. Like that ain't bad. Like that ain't bad. I mean, do you think the Celtics are the team to beat, Chris? Because KP could be a third option. And again, the number that I gave, 23, 8, 3, 1, and 2.
I would say yes, but until you the thrown the champ,
Uh-huh.
you still got to put him as favorites.
Okay.
Now,
But in the East, though, they're the favorites.
if they sign back Kyle, I say if Miami do what they need to do in this all season, I agree with a Double J. If you get Dame, cool. But if you re-sign back your core players that was there last year, you can run it back. And I'm truthfully, you don't know what's going on with Philly. Like you said earlier, you don't know what's going on with the Bucks. It's literally like a 2-team race in the East.
Okay, so that KP move didn't make them the favorites. Okay. I don't know, champ. Like, so can I ask? I just got to ask from this standpoint. And Josh, I'm glad you brought up Marcus Smart getting traded, right? Because that is tough. Like that really is tough. They try to get Brogdon out there first and foremost. But fellas, I think sometimes you got to put a little accountability, a little onus on players, on stars. And I think removing someone like a Marcus Smart, while tough, I think it's necessary and needed going forward. Because if there was somebody to check the Celtics, it was Marcus Smart. But I need Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to be the ones that are checking the Celtics. So now that means they also got to make sure they're held accountable. They're holding themselves accountable. So I think going forward, it should make the Celtics better. Or you figure out, okay, these boys ain't it. But I'm looking at it from that standpoint. Do y'all think the Marcus Smart trade was or Dross, do you think the Marcus Smart trade was wrong still from that standpoint?
I can see why, for accountability, you're gonna want to have Tatum and Brown. I think that is probably the best, two forward guard or duo that we have in the league right now. Um, but when you have a heart and soul anchor like Marcus Smart, who's able to go out and just work every night, not worry about stats, because a lot of players will start to worry about their stats if they're falling off, but he's just somebody who's always going to go out there and work. I can't really say I like that trade for the Celtics. If I'm a Celtics fan, I don't like that trade. You lose a key asset, a key piece who knows their role, who is a perfect fit for the team. He can distribute. He can shoot when he needs to. He doesn't take too many unreliable shots. But I get it. They needed a big, but I really don't see how that big and Kristaps Porzingis is going to fill their void of now Marcus Smart. It's more like the 80-20 rule. You have 80% and you start to look at what the 20% that you're missing. Once you go for that 20%, you're going to lose that 80% that you had.
Now, let me ask you this, Josh. Do you think, and me and Trey was talking about earlier, do you think the Celtics is going to miss Marcus doing the playoffs?
And that's
Because I understand because they were trying to get rid of Brogdon, but I understand y'all got back the 6 man of the year, but now your 6 man of the year is about to be your starting point guard for the following season.
I just want to say before you keep going, is actually a better point guard than Marcus Smart, I want to add. Now, you can talk about durability. Defensively, though, Brogdon ain't bad. So, I mean, in terms of messing up from a point guard standpoint, Brogdon might be better than Marcus Smart. But that heart and soul piece, though, you can't. Yeah, that is tricky to give up too, though. But I. So you think they're still going to miss him in the playoffs?
I think so. I mean, and I look at what they went over in the playoffs. They had their first round matchup was against, who was it against? It wasn't Philly. Was their second round matchup, right?
They played. Why can I not? It was the Hawks.
They play the Hawks. So their first round matchup, not too much of a problem with the Hawks. They did have
It
a lot of
wasn't.
games.
Don't get it
Hold
twisted.
on. I wasn't done. They had some games that were a lot closer than they should have been.
Yeah.
And they I think almost they it was a 4-2 series.
Did it go 5 or 6? Hold on. Let me run that back.
It went 6. It could have went
Yeah,
7
it
because
almost went 7. Yeah.
it's almost went 7 because
Yeah, it did go 6 actually. Yep. No, y'all right. Y'all right. You're right.
Yeah, so 4-2 with the Hawks, then they go 4-3 with Philly, and then they lose in 7 to Miami.
And they were
Um
down in that series too, by the way.
oh,
To Philly.
down
They
3
could have
3-1, yeah.
lost in the second
Or
round.
no, they were down 3-0 to Miami, right?
Yeah, I was talking about the
Yeah.
76ers. They were down 3-2.
Okay, yeah. So when you have somebody like that, you're going to always, Jason Tatum is 25, 26. Same thing about Jaylen Brown, 26, 27. Marcus Smart is a little bit older than them, but when you have a reputation for being the heart and soul of a team, he upholds that. Yeah, he gets in some stupid stuff like doing stupid fouls, flops, but I think during the playoffs, you're gonna need a leader. Al Horford, he's a leader, but he's not that outspoken leader. He's a quiet guy, likes to fly under the radar. Brogdon, quiet guy, flies under the radar. So it's like, who is going to be that guy to step up? And to your point, maybe you have Jason Tatum, or Jaylen Brown that's going to step up. But it's really like, when they were down in these points of being down 3-2, being down 3-0, who was that guy in the locker room that was like, hey, fellas, we need to get this ship corrected in the right way. And right now, today, I can't just see anybody on that team doing that. Maybe Brogdon comes in, but what I saw this postseason from him, I know he had injuries.
Mhm.
I just can't see him replacing Marcus Smart and being the guy that they need and filling that
at that
void.
point guard.
Yeah.
That point guard.
I think something I want to see, because I think it's going to happen in two different instances. I don't think they're both going to take ownership at the same time. I think JB starts it off because it's going to be a little egotistical too in terms of what causes JT. But JB setting the tone. I personally feel like they both remind me of Kobe and T Mac. And JT reminds me more of T Mac, and JB reminds me more of Kobe. Now I'm not saying they're both going to turn out to be those players, but like from a talent perspective, I was telling you, T Mac I thought was better than Kobe from a talent perspective, but Kobe wanted it more. So like I see JB wanting it more, and he's also the vice president, if I'm not mistaken, of basketball players association. So having those credentials, and he does seem like fairly mature. Like I haven't seen anything stupid from him. I think he would be that person to replace Marcus Smart. And I think doing that, you become the leader. You're already viewed as the leader, but like it goes up a notch. And I think because of that, now the players might start to rely more so on you to get the job done when things get a little tight than JT.
Mhm.
I was having that question, oh, who's better than JT versus JB?
Yeah.
But now JT comes a little bit later on, maybe the season afterwards, because again, but I don't think it's going to happen right at the same time. I think JB starts that though, because you got to learn to be a leader, and like I
Yeah.
don't think they've both been leaders yet. I think they've had good moments, they've been working towards it, but they still got to show they got to show more stuff. And JB's also the older player too, so like again, more mature, at least from what I can see. I think that's how it might go down personally, but
Mhm.
we got to wait and see though. But moral of the story is nobody sound like the Celtics are the favorites though.
Oh, I think on paper, yes, the Celtics are the favorites. But it all comes down to who's going to win it more when the season's at stake.
That's fair. That's fair. And I think that's where you guys shine, actually. I think that's where you guys shine. But fellas, I greatly appreciate this. I appreciate y'all coming on the show. Chris, you already know how this, so you already know how this goes. So and you already gave people some thoughts later on at the end of the show on AMP. So Josh, you got anything you want to say before we close up shop?
Nah, man, I'm just glad to be here and pitching my thoughts and efforts when I can.
Nah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You're definitely more than welcome to come on the show anytime. If you ever got some topics you want to talk about, get off your chest, feel free. You're more than welcome. With that, ladies and gentlemen, hope you all enjoyed it, and tune in next time. Take care.
did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I gotta go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here, too.